Okay, now that we got the basis of this from at least the top view, let's see what we look like from the front view. And obviously I've got some work to do here. Move this up. Now again, the difficult thing or thing to keep in mind is this is not an orthographic view of my drawing. My drawing's perspective, and as a result it's been foreshortened, and since it's been foreshortened, it's really not true distance, but I can get a little bit of an idea. And we can look at the perspective window and see, yeah, we got a pretty good feel for that. The only thing I don't like is the way that distal end is facing. We should face more this way. So even in the top view, you can see how that face is wider and tends to be facing more this edge. This edge here, I can actually just pull that edge right there to kind of get more of that shape. These edges, so I'm not double clicking now. Now I'm just clicking edges individually. Kind of get more of that shape. And the other thing I know about that edge, or that face I should say, that surface, is that it's relatively flat compared to the end that's articulating here in the sternum. So I'm going to flatten it, and if I want to have it relatively flat, really what I have to do is insert an edge loop kind of near that end. So there they are. Maybe not quite that near. Okay, it's still a little too extreme. Here we go. Once I do that, you can see where the face doesn't have to be quite that wide. Okay, grab this edge and bring it back. So all this time I still have my components on the my move axis, or my orientation axis is on the component, not the world, so that I have a little more control. So now I've got to work on this proximal end, and my drawing's not real clear here, but we know that's more of a ball. So I'm going to have the same dilemma. I need to create something of a second edge here, maybe back here, so I can take the face at the proximal end. Oops, I think I put an extra edge there. There we go. Take that face and maybe scale it down in all axes and bring it out. Again, maybe orientate it a little more towards the. Okay. Now that got me the roundness there, but it's still kind of. So what I may have to do is take this edge. Bring it a little bit closer and insert another edge behind it. Now I'll take this edge. And scale it just a little bit larger to kind of get a little bit of a ball feel. Okay, and then I can use the top window here again for my orientation. think what I want to do, I turned, if you remember, I turned the face. I think I want to just rotate these two edges just a little bit. So again, they're a little more perpendicular as well. Okay. So really, we're not too far off there. Going to look at the bone and get a little more. I think this face is just a little too extreme. Rotate. There we go. There we go. Okay, now if we look at the bottom, if you actually look at your clavicle, you'll find there's some other details you want to put on there. And one thing I notice is that this whole area, in other words, the clavicle is, as it comes laterally, it does flatten. Now we've flattened the distal end that articulates with the acromion, but the whole bone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this face, I'm going to drag a box. Yeah, I got the two faces now, one on the anterior, one on the posterior, and I'm just going to scale them, and I'm going to put on the soft selects. Remember, the letter B, like in boy, gives me the soft select. You can see right now that's too big. I middle mouse drag that soft select. I middle mouse drag it. To the right increases the influence, to the left decreases. So I'm just going to go about like that. Just kind of subtly make that transition where I start to go from round to a little more flattened as I get out. And what I might do with these two edges here, change back to world. Not quite what I want, so I'll have to do this D, letter D. Oh, let me turn off B here. What I want to do is get letter D, and I'm going to turn the pivot point and orientate so that I can get these two areas to flatten out just a little bit. Okay, there you go. So that's about really not bad, for the clavicle. Then we'll use the sculpting tool. Now, I think if I try to work with this, even with all the edges I can add in Mudbox, I think this is just going to be a little too minimal. So I'll save the tape for a sec. I'll stop the tape.